Spain has won the World Cup twice. Once in 2010, on a Iniesta goal, deep into extra time against the Netherlands. Once in 2026, without losing a single match, all tournament. Two totally different paths to the same trophy. So, which run was actually more dominant? We're breaking down the managers, the tactics, the iconic matches, and the squads, then giving you our verdict. Here's why this comparison actually means something. 2010 is the birth of an era, tiki-taka, the possession style that changed how football is played at the highest level, built around Xavi and Iniesta controlling every match through sheer passing volume. 2026 is a completely different generation. De La Fuente's Spain, faster, more direct, built around an 18-year-old in Lamine Yamal, who's already one of the most dangerous wingers on the planet. 16 years apart, same trophy, very different teams. Let's get into it. Let's start with the managers, since this shapes everything else. Vicente Del Bosque took over in 2008 and built patiently, letting a golden generation of Barcelona and Real Madrid players mature into a system nobody in the world could break down. He'd already won 2 European Cups as a club manager before this job. Luis de la Fuente arrived in 2022 after a Qatar disaster under Luis Enrique, a round of 16 exit to Brazil. He rebuilt fast, won the Nations League in 2023, then Euro 2024, beating England in the final. By the time 2026 came around, De La Fuente already had a title on his resume with this exact group. Del Bosque built from scratch. De La Fuente inherited belief and had to prove it scaled to a World Cup. Both approaches worked, but I give Del Bosque the edge here. Building a system this dominant from nothing is harder than continuing one that already had momentum. Now the squads themselves. 2010 Spain reads like a Hall of Fame ballot. Casillas in goal, Puyol and Ramos at the back, Xavi and Iniesta running midfield, David Villa up top. Every one of those players is a Ballon d'Or contender, or a Champions League winner, multiple times over. 2026's Spain is younger, but arguably deeper. Unai Simon in goal, Cucurella and Paco Barsi defending, Rodri anchoring midfield, fresh off a Ballon d'Or near win, and Yamal terrorizing defenses from the wing at just 18. Here's the difference that matters. 2026's squad depth showed up when it counted. Ferran Torres came off the bench to score the actual winning goal in the final. 2010 didn't have that same bench impact. Their starters carried almost the entire tournament. Squad depth goes to 2026. Clearly, let's talk about how dominant each run actually was. Because this is where it gets interesting. 2010, Spain lost their opening match, 0-1 to Switzerland, then had to fight through the entire rest of the tournament just to survive, winning every knockout game 1-0. Total goals scored across the whole tournament, 8. It was a grind from start to finish. 2026 didn't lose a single match. Not one. 8 games. 7 wins, 1 draw, 14 goals scored, and only a single goal conceded across the entire tournament. They beat Austria, Portugal, Belgium, France, and Argentina in the knockout rounds without ever trailing in a single match. That's not just winning. That's total control. Dominance goes to 2026, and it's not particularly close. Now the iconic moment each team will be remembered for. 2010's is Iniesta, minute 116 of the final. A strike from the edge of the box that broke Dutch hearts, and is still replayed as one of the greatest World Cup final goals ever scored. He tore off his shirt to reveal a message dedicated to a teammate who'd passed away that year, and that image is burned into football history. 2026's defining moment is less about one goal and more about a full team performance, holding Argentina scoreless for over 100 minutes in the final before Ferran Torres finally broke through in extra time. While playing a man up after Enzo Fernandez's red card, Iniesta's moment has more raw emotional weight. Torres's moment reflects a more complete team performance. If we're picking pure iconic status, 2010 wins this one. That goal transcended football itself. So here's where this leaves us, on the legacy question. 2010 didn't just win a trophy. It created tiki-taka as a global blueprint, a style that clubs and countries copied for the next decade. Barcelona's entire identity, under Guardiola, ran parallel to this exact Spain squad. 2026 hasn't had time to build that kind of long-term influence yet, but with Yamal and Cubarsí both still teenagers, this squad looks built to stay at the top for years, possibly winning multiple tournaments together before their careers are even close to over. 2010's legacy is already written in the history books. 2026's legacy is still being written, and it might end up even bigger.
So, the actual verdict.
If we're talking about which single tournament run was more dominant, 2026 wins clearly. Unbeaten, deeper squad, more complete performances across 8 matches. If we're talking about which team left the bigger mark on football history, 2010 still edges it. Tiki-taka changed the sport itself. And Iniesta's goal is one of the most replayed moments in World Cup history. Our call, as a complete tournament performance. 2026 was the better team. As a legacy, 2010 still can't be topped yet. But you don't have to agree with us. Comment which Spain team you'd take, 2010's control in history, or 2026's total dominance. And like always, drop the next country you want us to compare. We're building the schedule straight from what you tell us.